Well, hello everyone. It is October 1st and I'm going to try something a little different this month. I have seen a few other YouTubers do this type of video before, and it has made me curious. How much yarn do I actually use in a month? Like completed skeins, which makes it hard to track. It really does. So even if I have a partial skein, when it's completed, I am going to save the labels till the end of the month and see just how much yarn I am actually using in a month. I know a lot of it will depend on what I'm making, but anyhow. So for October 1st, I finished off 3, and they were all partial. Just saying. These were all partial skeins. 2 of the basics and 1, why does this one look so thin? Premier Basics Chenille Multi. Chenille Brights and Chenille Brights. Okay, so I can talk. 2 solids and 1 variegated. Technically, it was 4 because I did finish off a partial white. So I'll have to add one of those to that. I'm going to try and save my tags so that I can keep track. But the 2 partials were the Kiwi and the Sage in the Chenille Brights, and I think, what color was that? Pastels, and then it was the pastel color in the variegated. So I've been using those colors for Myrtle the Turtles, and those are now complete and off the shelves. So we will check back in again to see just how many more I have used. Well, good morning. It is Friday, October 3rd. I was too tired to get on here last night and tell you how many skeins I went through. Just saying, I was tired. So I finished off a couple of partial skeins and had to start into some new ones of these colors. So we finished off 3 of the basic Chenille Brights. And in finishing them off, 1 was Rust. We did this Fox. 1 was Yellow, the Lemon, and Black. I needed some bees. Oh my goodness, bees. But I decided to do some in black. So I just made 4 bees. I spent most of my day putting stuff in inventory. And then I did finish off a mystical in the pink quartz and did a snake. I had just enough to almost finish the snake. I had to get into another skein to finish off the tail. So that is, I didn't have a wrapper for this one, so we'll just call it 3. 3 more skeins used up. This is going to be interesting. I am so curious how much yarn I actually go through in a month. So I'm going to sign off so I can get this stuff into inventory and price tags on them and load my car for the market. We'll see you maybe tomorrow. Well, hey everyone, it is still Friday, October 3rd. I had a last minute item I needed to make, and that helped me to complete with just this much left. Maybe a yard, maybe, probably not quite, of a neon green in Parfait Chunky. So that is 1 more skein out of the way. But what I was able to make was because we sold out of these at the last market for Frogs on a Swing. So I am like 1000% positive that that is all that I will get done today for crocheting. Because as soon as I tag these and put them in inventory, I need to go load the car, change my clothes, and head out to the market. So we will check back in again with another update. Well, everybody, it is Sunday, October 5th, and I am checking in for the yarn I used on the 4th before I get started today, and I'm getting a late start, just saying, but we were able to use up 3 skeins, partial skeins, but they're completed now. Caramel, sage, and banana. Plus I got into other yarn that it's just not finished yet, but I made 9 plushies yesterday, 3 Ninja Turtles. I still have more to make. 5 dashboard ducks, and a new pattern that by the time you see this, you will have already seen this, but is this not just the cutest little thing you've ever seen? But yeah, so I have more Ninja Turtles to make before I move on to the next thing, and most likely I will be going through more sage and banana, and we'll see. So we're going to keep going, and now I'm going to go crochet for today, and hopefully I can either check in later on tonight or tomorrow morning for the 5th. We will see. Anyhow, I'm going to go make something. Well, good morning, everyone. It is Monday, October 6th, and I am checking in with the yarn that we used for Sunday, October 5th. Which sadly was not a lot. My Friday market caught up with me and I took a long nap yesterday. But I did manage to get a few things done. A couple of Pikachu and a couple of Mew. And that allowed me to finish off 1 skein of Premier Basics Chenille Brights in the color of lemon. I did, however, end up getting into other colors and starting off other skeins. So that is just one. We are starting to get a little collection of bands already. We'll see what we can get done today, and if we will polish off any other skeins of yarn. Some colors are looking low. I may have to break down and place another yarn order because I have a lot of work to do. All right, we will check in again with you either later tonight or tomorrow to see what we used for Monday the 6th. Well, hello, everyone. I'm tired. It is Tuesday, October 7th, I believe, and I am checking in for the skeins that I was able to polish off yesterday on the 6th, and it was only 2, sadly. For as much as I made yesterday, it was only 2, and that was Caramel and Sage in the Premier Brights, or Premier Basics Chenille Brights. And so we made, I got so close on a couple other skeins, like little balls left. we were working on some Pokemon. And a couple of more Ninja Turtles. So I have 1 more Ninja Turtle to make, and I'll have 2 of each color. And I have a whole bunch more Pokemon to make, but I am getting just a little bit bored with them. I need to do something different, and then I can go back to them, because technically I have till November 6th to restock that, but I do have 2 smaller markets in between, and, you know, we have to have stock for that too, which I do have a lot of stock, but my smalls, I'm sure I already said it, but my smalls were wiped out on October 3rd. So, let's see what we can go through today. I don't know what I think. I don't know what I'm going to work on, but it needs to be something besides Pokemon for today. All right, we will maybe, I know I keep saying it, maybe check back in tonight and let you know what I used up today, or we'll check in tomorrow for today and, you know, continue on this trend. Who knows? All right, we'll be back. Well, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, October 8th, and it is time to check in with our yarn usage for Tuesday, October 7th. Once again, I stayed up too late working, and I was too tired to make this little clip. So yesterday, I finished off 3 in the Chenille Brights. And then my hands were starting to get a little achy, so I had to switch over to Parfait Chunky, and I did not finish any of those off. So it was black, white, and banana yellow that we finished off. And that was, you know, doing a couple of more Ninja Turtles, a few other Pokemon. Right now, I've got everything on the table. I'm not sure which ones I made yesterday. And then when I switched to Parfait Chunky, I was doing car swings and these little cuties. But by the time you see this, you would have already seen these, and they would have already gone to market, and hopefully something great happened with them. So I don't know how much I'll get done today. Hands are a little achy, and I'm feeling really tired today. So I'll get a few things done, but it probably won't be much. But I will check in tomorrow or tonight, most likely tomorrow, to see if we finished off any more skeins of yarn. So we'll see you later. Well, good morning. It is Friday, October 10th. It is market day. I didn't check in yesterday because, you know, I didn't have a whole lot to show you or to tell you. Or technically, I just didn't use a whole lot of yarn. So I did finish 1 skein of Parfait Plush in Toffee. Just 1, but I started a whole bunch of other ones. And with that Toffee, we finished the skein off with 2 more baby demis. And that gives me, I got 4 of them out of that 1 skein of yarn. So those are going to market with me today. So don't know if I'll get any yarn usage done today because of it being market day. So it may be a few days before I check back in. Hey everyone, it is Sunday, October 12th. Long time no see. I have not checked in the last couple of days because Friday we were at market. We didn't really get any crocheting done. And yesterday was my chill after the market day. And so I did make a few things. And I got into a whole bunch of new skeins of yarn because I needed the colors. But we were successful in finishing off a couple of partial skeins of Bernat Baby Dappled. I had 2 of those. And we will add this to our stack that we have going here to see how much yarn we use in the month of October. I am very, very curious. Oops, no. Uh-oh, I'm going to have to put them in a basket now. They're falling. I am very curious to see how many skeins we go through, and then how much money in yarn am I going through. So, I mean, it's not a ton, but plushies are small. So it takes a little bit to, sometimes, if you're doing small makes like I have the last couple of weeks, takes a little bit of time to go through them and use it up completely. Because if I don't complete the skein, I don't add the strap to it until it is finished. So I am going to go get to work and see if I can't use up some more yarn. Well, hey everyone, it is Monday, October 13th. I did not check in yesterday, but that's okay. Didn't get a whole lot used up yesterday. But for yesterday and today, we have finished off 2 skeins of Parfait Chunky. And one of those skeins went to a really big item. And then I finished off a Parfait Plush, what was the remainder of that skein, and that was with 2 little sausage dogs, little wiener dogs, but it wasn't even enough to do the ears, so this one got his ears a different color than this one did. And then I had a small amount, and I do not have a band for it, a small amount of Java from, I think it's Home Slim, and we did one other little wiener dog. But the big usage went to this guy. This took forever. And then this other partial skein, I think, was Toucan from Hobie. Maybe it is Parfait Chunky, but the way it was frogging, it was behaving more like Toucan, went for this little pattern here. And I'm thinking that maybe I like this wiener dog better, maybe. I don't know. It's not as quick and easy as that one to make, but I think it's a little cuter. Anyways, tomorrow is another day. I got into, the last few days, a bunch of other colors in other yarn and haven't finished anything up, so I would say here within the next few days, we're going to have a whole bunch of them that get finished up, depending on what I can make. So it all depends on that. Anyways, if I use up any yarn, I'll check in tomorrow. Well, good morning. It is Wednesday, October 15th, and it is time for our yarn usage check-in. So for 2 days, for Monday and Tuesday, I used up 3 skeins of the Premier Basics chenille in denim and light blue and fog, because I made a couple of blueies and some rats. So I have no plans on what I'm going to make for today, but we're going to get into some stuff. So we will check back in again, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after, to see just how much yarn we can go through. My stack is getting pretty thick over there. So we'll see you again on the next check-in. Well, hey everyone, it is Friday, October 17th. I did not use very much yarn in the last 2 days. Actually, I've only completed 3 items in 2 days. Not very good for me. But we did polish off the last of a Chenille Brights Caramel, a Steel Cut Oats, and a pewter, which is gray. So I did a pattern test for Stacy on Wednesday, and that was like all I got done. Kind of, sort of. So that used up my pewter for the gray, and between this and the blueies that I did, the day before, that used up the last of that Steel Cut Oats skein. My caramel, I finished off with this dog, and this is a mystical, which I haven't used that skein up yet. And then I did almost finish another black and started this skein. So I got into new skeins because I've finished up the skeins from previous, but that's all I did for 2 days. I had a lot of interruptions. So now that it is probably 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, somewhere abouts there, I'm going to get started for today before we do my live tonight. So I don't think I'm doing too good at updating daily. It seems like it's now every 2 days, but that's okay. I got to finish a skein to have something to report, right? All right, I'm going to go get to work, and we'll check back in again either tomorrow or the next day. Well, good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, October 19th, and this has not been a good week for me for yarn usage. So for 2 days, mind you that most of the yarn that I use, there's only like 112 yards in a skein. So when I say it doesn't feel like much yarn usage, that's why. So the last couple of days, I have gotten into lots of different colors, but haven't really completed much. I did manage to complete a teal blue in the basics chenille, and a Caribbean in the basics chenille, and a tangerine in the basics chenille. I also am still working on a project that I can't show yet because it's not all put together, but I have finished off on this project a Parfait plush in blue. Clever name, right? So the teal blues went on these little mallards. The Caribbean and the tangerine went on the little platypus. And yeah, not a whole lot. But, you know, in my defense, I counted my plushies yesterday. I have 443, not including what I have in a clearance bin. So it's no big rush. I think I'm good for my markets for the most part. So it's not a huge rush to, you know, like mass produce in a day. Anyways, I am going to go get to work, finish up my plush project, and hopefully get to start on some other things. So we will check in again either tomorrow or the day after. Well, good morning, everyone. It is Thursday. Yep, October 23rd. And I feel like it's been such a long time since I last checked in. And I have been busy. I have been making a ton of plushies. Well, not a ton, but quite a few. And mostly small stuff. And I'm here to report that I did not complete one skein of yarn with total usage. Not one thing. It goes like that sometimes. So, I swear I feel like it's been 3 or 4 days, and, you know, I've made lots of little Pokemon, fluff flying through the air, alligators, keychains, ducks, geese, chicken, and everything just took a little bit of this and a little bit of that, so we did not finish off one single skein. Just goes like that sometimes. Anyhow, we will check back in again. Well, good morning. It is Saturday, October 25th, and I'm back for a yarn usage check-in. So Thursday and Friday, I didn't get a whole lot made because most of my day Thursday was spent pricing and Friday was market. So I did get to crochet a little bit. I finished off 2 skeins of Parfait Chunky, one in tangerine and one in white, making these cutest little geese from Crochet Grove. And then I finished off a green, sage green in Chenille Brights, and I got 2 of these gaiters with the little already used, so maybe about 2.5 of these out of a skein. So I was successful in finishing off 3 skeins. This week has been a low full skein usage week, but I have a whole bunch of partials that'll probably get used up in this next week. So I will check back in again the next time I have some yarn used. Well, good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, October 28th, and we are back for another yarn usage check-in. And considering it's been a couple of days, I am a little surprised that I didn't go through more, but in my defense, I've been working on the Sanderson sisters, and you use such small amounts of, like, tons of different colors. It's kind of hard to go through them, and they take me a little bit to make those dolls. But I will say, when I am done with these, that pattern is being retired. This will be the last time I make them. Anyhow, I did manage to go through a curry in Chenille Brights, and that was making the Highland Cow Spluter from Snuggle Beans Crochet. And then I had some, like, very little bit of yarn left on a few of the chenille, what do you call it? The tie-dye and a variegated, a multi. So I have, like, such a small quantity left on them. I'm going to end up using these little strips. It's not even enough for a turtle shell. But I saw Tammy from the Crafty Mompreneur use her little scraps like that in one of the dog beds. So I'm going to use those little pieces and blend them in with the dog beds. So I had 3 of those that there's not enough left to make anything with. So we managed to go through 4. Feels like it should be a lot more. Anyways, I need to get to work because I have 2 more Sanderson dolls to make. I had a total of 4. I have 2 done. I have 2 more that need to be done before the end of the month, and I only have a couple days left. So I need to get on it. So we will check back in again. Well, good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, October 30th. I meant to check in yesterday, but it started getting late. So I finally finished the Sanderson sisters. And by doing those, and it like consuming most of my days that I was making them, I was able to finish off 2 skeins of Parfait Chunky, one in the color of Shell, which is the skin tone for the Sanderson sisters, and a black. So that is 2 more skeins that we have completed this month. I have quite the stack. I have today and tomorrow left to see how many more skeins I can go through. But of course, I had to order yarn in order to do the Sanderson sisters. So I kind of feel like I didn't get anywhere with using up some of this yarn. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Anyways, we will check back in again at least one more time before we get to the end of this particular video. Hey everyone, it is Saturday, November 1st, and we have come to an end of the yarn usage for October. So the last 2 days, we managed to finish off an orchid in chenille brights and what color is this one? Peach. Plus, during the live last night, we finished off a skein of mint in the chenille brights and the last little bit of tropic twist in the tie-dye chenille brights. So all we need to do now is get a tally on everything and see how many of each type, which we know it's going to be mostly brights, but see how many of each type of yarn that we used and how much money it all adds up to. So this is my stack with these from the last 2 days. So I'm going to sort these and do some calculations and be right back. Okay, that did not take long. We used 3 Parfait Plush for $24, and we used 1 Big Twist Posh, completed that skein, and 2 Bernat Dappled, finished those skeins up, and I believe those 3 were partial skeins when I started, but it all counts. Then in the tie-dye and variegated on Premier, the basics, the brights, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those, and all of the brights, 28 skeins. So that's 30, 40, 46 skeins of yarn that we finished off in the month of October. So now I can throw all these away. That was pretty interesting. And because it was mostly brights, and they are the least expensive of the yarns that I buy, the money spent on yarn, if I had purchased it all in the same month, would have been $221. So that's not bad. I can't say that I got a whole lot of plushies made because I have been working on the custom orders and they're already gone. You know, like the Sanderson sisters. I have 3 that'll be picked up on the 7th at market. So I used up a lot of partial skeins and then I got into a lot more. So I still have a bunch of partial skeins. But it's been really, really interesting to keep track of this. So if you guys like this kind of video, let me know, and we'll do it again to see how much I used up in November. You know, it's just something a little different. Anyways, that is what I have for you today. And this is taking place of my normal what I made for a Sunday just because of the way the days fell and because of doing the Sanderson sisters, I don't have much to share as far as makes, but that'll give me more to share with you on Wednesday. All right, so we will see you in the next video, and these are trash bound now.